Hey guys, Carl from Moose Plays. I'm back with another of our Mysticana expansions, this time Mysticana Harbingers, from designer Dustin, Dobson, and Jamie Thul, and as always from Button Shy Games. This is another solo-only expansion for Mysticana, and this is actually the first expansion that's sort of an expansion on an expansion. Although the first one wasn't really an expansion, this is an expansion to the Nine Perils solo game that comes in the core set of Mysticana. So taking sort of the core concept, the core mechanisms of Nine Perils, and adding on to that by adding some additional rules and some additional cards into gameplay. Disclaimer, I was given a review copy of this game for this video, but as always, I will do my best to give you my own honest opinion on the game. With that said, let's head down to the table to see how this one plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. So as I mentioned up top, Harbingers is basically an expansion for one of the core games in the sort of core Mysticana deck, Nine Perils. So the setup for Harbingers is mostly going to be the same as Nine Perils, except for what comes new in Harbingers. And that is, first I'm going to take these 6 Harbinger cards, giving those a good shuffle. And then I'm going to choose, or sorry, not choose, but flip over 3 of those cards to represent sort of powers that I have called visions that I will be able to use to sort of help myself through the gameplay. And otherwise, the Harbinger cards are just going to be set off to the side, and they'll pull in one at a time as I play, because in this version of Nine Perils, or Harbingers, the Harbingers are going to be attacking me or making things more difficult. These visions are going to be making things more easy, or at least more deal-withable, if that's a word, able to be dealt with, over now 3 rounds or 3 full games of what was the core Nine Perils game. And then for each round of the 3 rounds that I will be playing, we're first going to set up just like we did with Nine Perils. I'm not going to give a full sort of overview of Nine Perils because I've already done a video for Nine Perils. If you want to see that, definitely click the link up here to go check it out first. But otherwise, I'm just going to take the standard deck of cards from Mysticana, give those a shuffle, and then I'm going to place 9 cards out in a row across the table, like that. And then I am going to flip over this center card face up. Then the remaining cards will be placed out here as a deck, and from that deck I'm going to draw out a starting hand, except I did just realize that I am going to need a little bit more space because we're going to need Harbingers added in just a second, but I'll show you how that works in a minute. First things first is I'm going to draw a starting hand based on the difficulty. A beginner mode is 3 cards, a novice is 2 cards, and seer, the most difficult, would be just 1 card. I'm going to be playing on the middle level, so I will draw 2 cards for my starting hand. And then what makes this different now is I'm going to take the top Harbinger from the deck, adding it to the Harbingers that are sort of in play, shuffling them together, which in this case is just a single Harbinger. And then depending on which round it is, placing it out in a different place. So right now, we need to slide these down, and this is why I'm going to need a little more space on camera. That Harbinger is going to sit right there above the center card. And each of these will slide down. And just to give myself a little bit more room, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, sliding things down just a tad, because we do need to have enough space for our own row of cards to fit in right there. All right, so like that, we are all set up for gameplay. Now, gameplay is going to play out exactly the same way Nine Perils did, except that we have these Harbingers to deal with. And let's take a look at the one we've got. First up, the Whisperer of Doubt says, at round end, any avatar, means the card with that symbol, played below this Harbinger loses to its corresponding peril, unless skipped by a previous tie. So I cannot win any battles with avatars. In fact, I cannot even tie with an avatar because it says any avatar played below this Harbinger loses to its corresponding peril. Now we should pay attention to the fact that it says below this Harbinger. This Harbinger is covering these 3 cards. So these 3 slots containing an avatar will be an instant loss unless it's skipped by a previous tie. Whereas normally our avatars were not counted numerically. Simply, if they were of the stronger suit, they'd win. If they were of the lower suit, they'd lose. And if they were of the same suit, they would tie. But otherwise, everything works exactly the same as the original game. And just to give myself a little more space, I'm going to set the remaining Harbingers off the screen. They'll come back in later. Give myself a little bit more space here. Now, we also have these 3 vision cards, which means during the 3 rounds of the game, means completely the entire 3 rounds of the game, I'm allowed to use each of these once. So let me show you what the 3 are that we drew for this game. I've got Brilliance of Leadership, which says I can look at the top 2 cards of the deck, replace them face down in any order. This one says I can place a card from my hand on the bottom of the deck and then draw a new card. So it lets me cycle through cards. Glint of Patience. Here we have Flash of Courage. At the end of a round, add +1 to the rank of 1 played card. So that will help me win a card or a battle that I normally wouldn't win. But otherwise, it plays the same way as Nine Perils, aside from the new rules from the Harbinger and the abilities given to us by the vision cards, which means the first step is I'm going to turn over a card anywhere in this tableau. Then I'm going to draw a card, and then I need to play a card from my hand. All right, so looking here, I've got a 4 fire. And remember, when we play a stronger suit than a card, which in this case water is, then we will add +1. So if I played that 3 water there, that would actually be a 4 water to a 4 fire. That would tie. So I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but assuming that I tied there, I could skip that, and I would need to know about this one. I'm also curious to see what's down here, just to get us sort of started, because anything that ties at the end could wrap around to there, and also if I start winning from there, I can move left to right. So let's see what's there. Oof. 6 green right now is not going to be something I want to play with. All right, then we draw a card and we get to play. All right, so here is an Avatar of Fire, which normally if I played there would tie, but because this is here, I would lose. Now, fire is stronger than green, however, and that is a high number, so I'm going to do that because that's pretty powerful for me right now. So that's a win. Then I do want to see what's coming next. There, oof, is an Avatar green. Means if I play any green there, I tie. If I play any fire there, I win, and if I play any water there, I lose. Okay, drawing a card. Ooh, well, that would work. Yeah, let's do it. Fire wins that one. Let's do the next card. 4 green. All right, so I could put a 5 water there, but that would tie because this is stronger than water, so that's +1 is 5, 5, which isn't a problem. This would definitely win that. This would tie that. You know what? I think I might do that anyway. If we do that, that's a tie. Then I skip there, and I have to win this or tie this to skip there and go here. So I want to know what this is. 5 green. Wow, did I shuffle? All of the greens are in the row. That's crazy. Okay. 5 red is fine. So I know that this can beat that because that's a 6 to 5 because +1 fire against green. So I am going to play that there. As expected, that 3 is a 4 to 4 is a tie. So if I win this, I don't care about those 2. Let's see what comes next over here. 4 water. So I could win that with a 6. Because 6 would be that, would be a 5 to 6. I'd still win, but I'm going to win this one first. Like that. Flipping over the next card here, because that's going to be important. Oh, 6 water. 6 water is a problem. 6 water is a problem. I need the water avatar. And I'm scared because, well, if I put this 6 here, that's 7 to 6, and I could use this at the end to make that work. So let's hold on to that. I won here. If I can tie here, I skip. Oh, I do. 3 green becomes 4 to 4 is we're skipping that to here. and fire beat green, so I win that. So I win. Let's just fill in the rest of the holes that don't matter. 2 green, flipping here. Well, 2 fire will win that. Don't need to, but it can. Flipping here. A tie doesn't really matter. In any case, that and that. And now we check all our comparisons. Fire beats nature, or earth, right? Based on our cycle here. Fire beats earth, so that's a win. Then, this is 3 fire beats earth because that's an avatar, so that's a win. Here, 5 water to 4 green, but that's +1 there, so that's 5 to 5. Tie, we skip this and go here. 3 water against fire goes up 1 is 4 to 4 is a tie, we skip to here. 5 green, 5 fire, but fire is stronger, so that's 6 to 5, I win. 3 green is stronger than water, so +1 is 4 to 4. We skip all the way back to here, which was a win. So I have won this first round. So clearing all the cards, giving them a shuffle, and putting out back 9 cards to start round 2. All right, so all set up for the next round. Flipping over our center card. 5 of fire, drawing 2 cards from the deck from my starting hand. And then we are going to bring in the next Harbinger from our stack from before, mix those up. And then we are going to place them now on the 3rd card in here and the 3rd card in right here, so that these 3 cards and these 3 cards are covered by the Harbingers. Again, this is the one that insta-loses for any avatar cards played. The new one, the Lurker of Apathy, says, at the end of the round, at least 1 peril below this must tie. This may include perils skipped by a previous tie. So I'm looking at these 3, and one of them has to tie. So why not start focusing over there? Let's see what this one is. 4 of water, flipping over. Right now I can't, because if I put that there, that's a 3 to 4. Here, put the 4, that's a 5 to 4, I lose, so I definitely don't want to go there right now anyway. Yeah, we're in trouble with what I've got right now. All right, I do have this card though that says I can add +1 to the rank. So if I play this 4 here, that's a 5 to 5, that's a tie. So let's do that since I don't have much other option at the moment. Flipping this card, oof, 5 green. I do have a water avatar now. Water avatar will win things if it's not under him, so I can use that there. Yes. Then if I can tie, no, here tie, I would have to tie here, skip that, tie here. Let's see what we got. 3 water, which I can easily tie with that 2 plants. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, because that definitely does that. This I can skip potentially, and if not, then I will use this vision. Which means I want to tie here, which I can do here. So let's see what this is. 6 fire is going to be a problem unless I can pull out a 6 water or the fire avatar. In any case, this is a problem, so I am going to skip it. Like that. Let's see what's happening over here. This is a win, so I do want to find out what this is. 4 green. 2 water is horrible. So if I tie here, I skip that. I need to win or tie this, which I could do with this 6 green and this card. This is, oh wait, this is a tie. So this doesn't matter anymore. That's silly. But this is a tie. It means I skip to here. 6 green might be, yeah, I'm going to play it to be safe. That's a win off of this tie. All right, then let's see what happens next. 6 water. That's a problem because I wanted that there. I hope I have a fire avatar. 3 greens. 3 green. Wow, we're in big trouble. This is a win. The 6 greens already been played to beat that. I think we lose this game. Well, I'm going to use one of these just to see what happens. Whoops, let's remove that. It says place a card from my hand underneath and draw the next one. Oh, there's a fire. Okay. So at the very least, we do that. But I know now that I can't win. Because that. I got crushed this game. Which is fun because I've never lost this game so far in my plays. And right now, we have to finish playing out the game. I did very poorly. Whatever, we're just going to play. That goes out and whatever. This and this. So we follow through. I should be flipping as I do. That's a tie. We skip to here. Wait a minute. No, we skip to here. And that means that's a tie. We skip to here. This I win. So all of these are fine. Then this is a win. This is a win. And then boom, 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 we lose the game. Well, that went quicker than I thought it was, so let's reset. I'm going to take the 3 cards that I have in front of me as items, flip them over to make them Harbingers. I'm going to take these 3 Harbingers, flip them over to make Visions. Then you will have seen everything, although you didn't get a chance to see the 3rd Harbinger from the previous game, which is here. This one here that says the first card you play this round must be played below this Harbinger. That's an interesting one, but unfortunately you didn't get to see it. Let me reset everything here, and we will play through one more time, hopefully making it through all 3 rounds. All right, so here we are reset, drawing 2 cards to my hand, flipping over that center card, pulling in our first Harbinger from this set. We will be playing with the Regent of Arrogance, which says, at the round end, perils below this Harbinger must not tie, even if they are skipped by a previous tie. Okay, so that goes there. We've got 3 new cards. The Glimmer of Hope says I can swap a face-up peril with a face-down peril. Do not flip them. That's interesting. That's an end-of-round fighting thing. Spark of Creativity said swap any 2 cards that I previously played. Cool. Glow of Discovery, swap a card in your hand with an unrevealed peril. Place your card face up into the timeline. That's super cool too. All right, let's see what we can do. Starting here, I need to win everything. That's a pretty easy win, but let's see what happens. Let's start left again. Oh, okay, not bad at all. Yeah, let's start simple. The 3 beats the 2 of fire, like that. Then, let's go to the next one. 4 of water. Okay. Must not tie. This water on the 4 is not a bad idea. Skipping to here, I need to win, but I don't know what that is, which is dangerous. And I can't tie under here. So realistically, I want to win this one and tie here. So I am going to play that. To find out what this one is, a 3 of leaves shouldn't be too hard, I hope. Well, that would work. Seems to be a waste. I'm going here. Because if I can tie there, that would be great. Let's see what comes after this. This is not a tie because water beats fire. That's 7 to 6. Ooh, a simple one. That's easy. 2. All right, let's play that 3 water right there. Flipping here. Avatar of Fire. 4 of Fire. If I tied this, I could win this. Or I could win this, tie this to go here and win that. Lots of options. Oh, water beats fire anyway. I could put that there and win. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no more water coming out, so I don't have to worry about fire. No, so I do have to worry about, no, I don't have to worry about fire. All right, then I will do that to win that battle. Then here, 6 green is a bit of a problem. Because the 6 fire is there. The fire avatar is there. So the only way to beat that 6 green, I can't, except to skip it. Which now means I need to swap this with something else that I put down. Okay, that's fine. If I skip that, I don't care. 5 water would also win this. Yeah, okay. Then that's what I'm going to do. I'm putting this 4 fire here, which would win anyway. But I'm going to play this to swap any 2 cards that I've previously played. Because then this goes here like that and like that. Because now I tie here, which means I will skip this 6. So we're safe again. Let's see what this is. I can't tie. Oh, that's easy. Perfect. Then I don't care if I lose here because I'm tied, so I'll skip it. That 5 goes there. Hold on, we gotta see what this is though. 5 fire is a problem. I think we just lost the first hand. Swap a face-up peril with a face-down peril. Ah, I see. That's not after I fought. That's during the game. Swap a card in your hand with an unrevealed peril. Too late. Yeah, I lose. First round. This is fun. Camera really makes me play poorly. All right, then I am going to call it there. But let's go ahead and finish what I was doing. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. All right, well, then let's evaluate so you can see how badly I lost. Starting here, 3 beats 2, that's true. Here, green does not, oh yeah, green beats water, that's fine. Then 5 versus, no, yeah, 5 versus 4, but I still win. Then here, 4 versus 2, I win. Then here is 6 versus 6, but that's 7 versus 6, I win. Then here, 3 over 2, I win. This is a tie, we skip here. And then unfortunately, this is now a 5 to a 6, and I lose the game. So let me show you the other 2 Harbingers you didn't get a chance to see because I played very poorly. Tyrant of Fear. The 1 peril below this Harbinger must be the last peril that you reveal. And the Reaper of Vengeance, at the end of the round, at least 2 cards played below this Harbinger must be of the stronger element than its corresponding peril. So that is my play of Mysticana Harbingers. As I said, I had never lost a game on the 2 easiest difficulties, and now I've lost the game twice in front of you. And in the very first round this time, just to show you what would happen if I did make it. Remember we saw in the second round this card, and this card has Harbingers. In the third and final round that you didn't get to see, if I had gotten there, this would be here, this would be here, and this would be here. So all 9 cards are connected to a Harbinger. Sets of 3, 3, and 3. That's basically all there is to show you. You've already seen the Mysticana deck if you've seen any of my other Mysticana videos. Just very quickly showing you again up close the different cards because the artwork on these continue to be amazing. These Harbingers are super creepy. weird looking creatures. And then on the other side, each of these different visions, they're kind of like constellations with cool items inside of them. Really, really pretty artwork. I love how they continue to have these sort of cool flavor text added in. That's basically all there is for this one. There's nothing else for me to show component-wise because this is just a small expansion on a game that I've already shown off several times. So with that said, meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. Now, as I said up top, this is an expansion to Nine Perils, one of the core solo games in the original deck of Mysticana cards. And if you've seen my video on that one, you will know that while I did enjoy it, it hasn't been my favorite of the solo games that I've played with the Mysticana deck. So far, Nine Perils was probably my least favorite of the games. I still enjoyed it quite a bit, but I found it somewhat easy. I found it sort of starting to become sort of the same puzzle every time I played through it. Now, it was an interesting sort of puzzle of how to play out cards, how to sort of predict what's coming or think about what's coming, to sort of play out cards in the right way so that you're either winning or sort of tying and skipping the places that you couldn't win in this row of cards. So Harbingers basically takes that core concept and adds some extra stuff to it. And I'm going to say this is probably going to be a fairly quick final thoughts because I've already talked about the core concept, the core mechanisms here. Now I'm only talking sort of about what this adds to it. So basically now, Harbingers takes Nine Perils and makes it into a 3-round game, or a sort of 3-game campaign, if you will, where every time you're playing, you're adding in a Harbinger. So in the first time you play, it's 1 Harbinger, the second time 2 Harbingers, and the third time 3 Harbingers. And the Harbingers are basically giving you some kind of additional restriction on how you're playing the game. Sometimes it means that the first card you place has to be below a Harbinger. Sometimes it means that you cannot reveal one of the cards under the Harbinger until towards the end of the game. Sometimes you are forced to tie in specific locations. Sometimes you're forced to play specific sort of elements in certain locations based on these Harbingers. And in the first round, the Harbinger covers or includes the center 3 cards in the row. In the second round, you're sort of moved in from 1, not the center, not the edges, 3 and 3 sort of off to the sides. And then in the third round, it's the middle 3, the outside 3, sort of 1, 2, 3 Harbingers, all giving you some kind of unique restriction that sort of adds to what you need to accomplish in order to win the game. Now it's not just a matter of winning every battle or tying and skipping the battles you don't win. Now it's about also fulfilling whatever the unique rules are for each of the different Harbingers. And it does make things quite a bit more sort of complicated, not sort of confusing complicated, but difficult complicated. But then to help you with that, you're also given these sort of ability cards or item cards. I'm sorry, my mind is blanking specifically on what they're called. But you start the game with these 3 cards that allow you to have like a 1-use, some kind of special ability. Sort of swapping cards in the row that you've already played, taking a card from your hand and getting rid of it to the bottom of the deck and replacing it with a card from the top of the deck. Adding a value of 1 to a card at the end of the round, and so on, allowing you to manipulate what you've done to better sort of deal with the threat of the Harbinger while you're trying to lay out these cards and win in every battle. So it does add again to the difficulty level, the complexity of the game. But as I was playing in preparation for this video, I was finding myself winning all the time, just like I did with Nine Perils. And if I had recorded my video after my own plays, I probably would have said something similar as before, that this game is somewhat easy, but I enjoy sort of the quick puzzle in my brain. It's kind of like sitting down to play a game of solitaire. I enjoy it, but. However, I then sat down to record a playthrough for this video, which I lost in the second round. And then again, because I lost, I wanted to show you some more of the game. I played one more time and lost in the first round. So now I've lost twice on camera, and I'm starting to think, hey, you know what? Maybe I was getting lucky. Maybe I was paying less attention while I was recording. That's definitely possible. But the point is here, the challenge definitely has been stepped up. This isn't as easy as the original. And again, there is one more difficulty level that I could play starting with only 1 card instead of 2. But realistically, I do enjoy this version of the game much more than I did the original Nine Perils, simply because it adds restriction to the game. And the restriction makes me need to think more carefully about where I'm placing out these cards, because not only do I have to win battles or potentially tie intentionally to skip over battles that I'm not winning, I now also have to make sure that I'm also addressing the specific rules of each of these different Harbinger cards that are played out in that row. So these different sort of balance of how the Harbingers come out, which locations those Harbingers are in, which Harbingers are interacting with other Harbingers at any given time, which of those sort of item or ability cards you have that allow you to sort of manipulate things in different ways to help deal with those Harbingers, really does make for quite a bit more fulfilling experience. So realistically, if I was ever going to play Nine Perils again, I would absolutely be playing the Harbingers version rather than the original Nine Perils. That said, though, this still is my least sort of exciting solo experience with the Mysticana deck, so I'd probably play other solo experiences before I played this one. But again, it's a 6-card deck that stays with my Mysticana deck. There's no reason to get rid of it, and I definitely will pull it out occasionally when I have my Mysticana cards out to get this game played, because it does have a nice sort of loop going. It does make my brain think in unique ways, trying to figure out how to meet all of the restrictions of the different Harbingers, while also trying to figure out how to win all of the tricks is the wrong word, but how to win all of the sort of matchups in the row, skipping over any I can't with ties, while also making sure, again, that I'm matching all of the restrictions of each of those Harbingers. So still not a top-level Mysticana solo game for me, but definitely a fun experience, and one that if you did enjoy the original Nine Perils is absolutely worth checking out, because I can't say anything negative about this compared to the original experience. This definitely elevates the original experience in pretty much every way, adding challenge, adding more sort of levels of thinking going on. And for that reason, I would definitely say check this out if you did enjoy the original Nine Perils. If you didn't enjoy the original Nine Perils, this is one you can probably skip, because again, it is the same game with extra stuff thrown in. But if you were kind of middling about the original Nine Perils, this one might kick it up a notch to the level where you will enjoy it more. So definitely take a look if you were strong on the previous Nine Perils or sort of middling on the Nine Perils core game. That's basically all I can say about this expansion. I hope that this video was helpful for you. As always, if it was, I do ask that you remember to please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks.